Hey there, folks. We are beginning October. This is CSS Battle.dev. What's the shape? What's the thing? Oh, kind of love it. Feel like it's blank template today. Feel like it's just I think it's just backgrounds. And we've got 3 of these circles. Let's call those radial gradients, and I'll put them in a variable. Let's call it y. Why? I don't know, because that's what I decided to put it in. A radial gradient, 1q, red. We can probably measure that. Let's see, we go from there 70 to the middle 118, so that's probably 50 pixels, and then transparent. And we've got that now inside a variable, and we're going to need 3 of those, right? Var y, there's 1, and we put it at some place, minus 100 pixels, maybe minus 50, and then minus 150 pixels. And there's our first wrinkle that I didn't think through. 7, 6, 8. And then I guess I need to do a repeat X. And we can do this and do negative 80 pixels and then have a comma between them. This is one way to do it. And then we can do the same thing again. And instead of 150, it's positive 150, and probably 0 will do it. And then one more linear gradient, which is going to be underneath everything. Blue, red, blue, red, blue, red, blue. And we need commas between. And we need that to come at an angle, 90 degrees. Great. So that first color stop is what? 105 pixels? 0. And then that's, how wide is that? It goes from 105 to 130. 130 pixels. Not 1130, 130 pixels, 0, and then 190 pixels in the center, and then 0, 210 pixels, and going backwards, 20, 10. I got something wrong there. That's okay. 0, and then 220 pixels. Is that it? Wait, I got something wrong. All right. So what do we got? Oh, so we got errors galore here. So 110, 120. Is that even in the right spot? No. How about 110? There we go. And then 130. There we go. 200. No. 200. No. 220. No. Oh, do I have the wrong number of stripes? I think I have another set that I need to add there. Comma. Okay. And then 240 pixels. 270. 50, 60, 70, 80. 300, 290, 280, 260, 70. There we go, 270, and then this is going to be 310. No, 290. All right, so yeah, not is efficient. No, this is not efficient at all. Not in the least. That's okay. All right, so that's one possible solution. Not very efficient, not super great. Let's submit. In retrospect, is it good? No, not really. But I'm going to steal this linear gradient, which is fine, and use the blank template. Put this gradient on the body, and then what I'm going to do is create a 50 pixel thing. So let's do border radius 50%, and let's create some margins. Margin of 0, 150, and then a height of so is it height of 140? That seems like a circle. And then we don't need a background. Let's create a box shadow minus 50 pixels, minus 50 pixels. Okay. And if we set the color to be red, then we can get that circle. And we got an interesting thing happening there. I actually don't understand what that shape is. That's an interesting one. What do we got going on there? I kind of like it. Whatever it is. Let's make this 0. So we've got, so in this negative space, so I was trying to create a minimal circle, but it turns out that actually has a background, right? Because it's a box shadow, even though it's transparent, the box shadow doesn't show through. So the way I'm thinking about this is wrong. I ought to instead of doing what I think I'm doing, I'm going to set a color and set a background, and let's do the inset. We'll do the inset technique. Inset 100 pixels. And that creates that circle. So that means that's the inside of that guy. So now I can move him. The question is, can I make both of them? So let's set these. Let's rethink the margins. 0, 100, and then I'm going to unset the border radius just so I can understand the shapes that I'm making. Right, and then let's do a minus, a negative margin here, minus 50 at the top, minus 58, probably, if that's to be believed. This number, 200, 250, 220, 222, and then this number is going to be, what, 50, no, 60, 62. Okay, and let's short circuit the box shadow. Oh, and of course I'm relying on the box shadow, but I'm going to short circuit anyway. So I'll set a background. Background is going to be that red color. Let's see if we've got what we want. There it is. So does this line up? Good. Border radius done. Let's put the box shadow back, and then this inset is going to be the internal. 3, 4, 5, 6. Great. And then the next box shadow is over 50 pixels and down, I don't know, 250 pixels or 300 pixels. So 60, 70, 80. And that's another potential way to do that. Now I don't need the background because I already have the inset. I have a height of 100, border radius, etc., 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 and I'm using the same background as before. I'm going to minify and submit. Are there other choices? There are, of course, other choices. one technique that I think would be fun, well, fun to me, is what if we set a width of 100, a width of, what's the width? The width is 100 on this element. So to do that, we need, what do we need? We need, well, we need the margins again. Margin to, I should have saved those margins. I didn't. Oh well. And then the height is 300. I'm bouncing around. Not very good. Minus 8, 230. Minus 8, 230. 0, 100. And then I'm going to set a background color of this. Great. There's our stripy stripe. And what I want to do is have that be entirely within the bounds of one of the circle and column things. And to do that, I'm again doing the same, learning the same numbers that I already forgot. 2, 2, yeah, 2, 2, 2, 2. Okay, so now radial gradient. 1Q at 50%, 0. And then we get the red color, 0. 50 pixels rather, 50 pixels, yeah. And then transparent. So there it is. Great. And then we have a linear gradient that is this red color, 20 pixels, and then transparent. And then that comes in at a 90-degree angle. And then we move that over a little bit with background position X, 30 pixels, 30, 40, something like that. Oh, and I know what I know now why I had an instinct to do this, because I was going to do a display flex. Display. Now, it is true that these do not align properly, do they? Maybe I can't do display flex easily because they overlap, right? Like we're seeing that. But I could do, I can still do a display flex. I think I can. Yeah, let's do a display flex. Why not? Display. Flex, wrap, sure. And we then need to do, instead of margins, we're going to do height, width rather, of 100. There's 1, 2. We need to set a margin of 0, or indeed a margin of -8. 0. -16. Yeah, there we go. -0, 50, 60, 70. And then if I add a gap of 60 pixels, there's, yeah, there's the next one. And then if I add another one, a last one, B, what do I need to do to move that into place? I think I can. So we'll call that B. Actually, C is better because we got 2 of them. We just don't need B. So let's see. So let's, for him, margin top -300. There it is. And then scale -1. We don't see it, so let's set background yellow. Actually, background color temporarily to see it. There it is. That's where it shows up. Let's increase those margins. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we can set margins to force him over 72, 78, 76, 76 maybe, 376. And let's set margins that way. So 376, 0. How about auto? There we go. That actually might move it into the correct place. So auto centers it. A little weirder solution. I'm not crazy about how verbose this display flex and flex wrap is, but a single radial gradient and a single linear gradient to create that pattern, and then you reuse it several times. So minify, unit replace, submit. That's a fun one. I like that. I like that. It's actually a better score, and of course, you can the micro optimizations, which are always less interesting. Shave off a character here and there. That's fine. Y'all care about that more than I do. I care a little bit, but for these videos, I keep it fun, keep it light, have fun. I enjoy making CSS stuff. I enjoy making web pages, and thanks for following along, watching. There's no need to like or subscribe, but I do these basically every day, and I've got a backlog of hundreds of hours of this. Well, 160 or 180, 170 hours of this stuff. You can watch. You don't have to watch. That's fine too. But some of it's got some good gems. They're kind of fun. It continues to be a rough world, so be good to yourself, be good to each other, and go make a web page. And no, really, sit down and make something fun for yourself. You don't have to put it on the web, but it feels good to make stuff, so go make stuff.